Hello, and welcome everyone to Friday Night Writing. My name is Angie, and today we're going to write. But first, we have a little bit of stuff to go over, and we are going to dive into that right now. That way, we can spend as much time writing as possible. And we're actually going to try to convert my usual Claude process into working on Novelcrafter. So, hello, good evening. If you're here, let me know. Say hey. And if you guys are reading a book, if you're watching a show, watching a movie, let me know. I know that we are watching uh, Strange New Worlds, the Star Trek series. Hello, Master Tamari. So my husband and I are watching that, and then he's actually watching Wednesday season 2 right now. So I have a feeling we are going to have some fun with that maybe around the Halloween holiday, something kind of a Wednesday feel to it. Hey, Emery, nice to see you. So, Fuzzy Otter, nice to see you again. I'm going to go ahead and we will pop on over to today. So, this is week 13. I have good news and I have bad news. So, we all knew this needed to end at some point, and so this is the third to last stream in this, we're going to call it a season of the um, Friday Night Writing. Oh, and then Emery said she just finished the Murderbot, and it was really fun. That's awesome. I think that they're getting a show, right? Murderbot is also getting a show, I believe. But yes, we are coming to an end for this season. We're going to end the Dead and Delivered series. So we're going to be writing today. Next week, we are going to be going over the editing process and looking at some editing prompts. And then on the 22nd, we are going to be talking about covers, specifically AI generated covers, but we can also talk about how you can actually use the LLM to help you create something that you can give an artist as well. And then keywords. And we'll also talk about blurbs as well. Let me look at my notes, make sure I'm hitting all the highlights here. Also, we got 2 LLM models this week. I meant to mention that before I got into the schedule, but so we got Claude 4.1 Opus and we got GPT-5. Who has used the new models so far? I know I haven't played with the new Claude. Opus is just not my thing. I think the prose is way too flowery. I'm also hearing that people are running into the rate limiting very easily and very quickly. So I haven't even messed with it yet. And, it's just, for me, it makes more sense to use it on Claude than it does to try to use it on Novelcrafter because it really is just that expensive. And then with GPT-5, I have it. I actually used it today for work for something. As you guys know, I work outside the home for other people. And so I was working on something using that today. And even had the agent mode going just to, really push it and see if I could get it to do things that I knew that it struggled with before. And let me just say, it still can't count. So let me check in with the chat here. Oh, okay. Emery said that she went to the show and she hasn't read the books yet. Okay, awesome. And yeah, what channel is that on even? I don't, or what streaming channel is the Murderbot show on? I'm not familiar with that. Just Mesha, hey. Master Tamari said, I haven't had the chance to use either, but I plan on trying Claude this weekend. Okay, awesome. And Chad said GPT-5 works much better in Novelcrafter. GPT-5 chat, not so much. Okay. I would definitely have to test it out in Novelcrafter. But yeah, I was trying to do a somewhat detailed analysis with some spreadsheets, and let me just say, it can't count. So I ended up just having to do it the hard way. Okay, so awesome. Glad to see everyone here. Let's go over here. So the revision list is here. I will admit that I have kind of fallen off of using it. I've been really focused on trying to, when I have the time, pump out some scenes. So I actually wrote 2 of them today. But I have not been using the revision list. I'm sorry. But the big stuff, the most important stuff is definitely on there, such as, let's actually open this up, open in a new tab. Hopefully I don't do anything stupid. Okay, here we go. So I think the big things was, the new entry for the DLO conference room. I had to figure out where we could put Charlie to work that wasn't in the bullpen because she was going to be like hammered with her, vampire senses and around people, and there was going to be, blood and such. So I was like, where can we put her? And so we ended up in a conference room. And then I ended up revealing that there is a connection between Charlie and Dylan's deaths way too soon, and I had to do some recalculation. I will also say that I did a vlog. If you come back here, there's actually a link. You can listen to my writing vlogs. I'm up to number 3 now. And in that, I talked about writing chapter 13, and I really had a hard time, and I really struggled with scene 13. It just did not want to work. And so that was not a bad day, or sorry, it was not a good day. So we've also got the updated codex, so you guys can go ahead and download that to your computers. Take a look at everything. So I've updated the scene list and a couple other like just very minor things. So not really big updates, but just to make sure that everyone is updated on the information. Also, you can read along on Laterpress. We are up to, it's going to say chapter 16 on there. It's actually scene 16, same thing. And then I actually created this little thing here called merchandise strategy. So this was something that came to me today. I think we talked about extra things that we could do for extra content last week. So I wanted to do something a little bit different this week. So I came up with this idea for merchandise strategy. I do have some very good friends who are in the e-commerce arena as authors. So they sell directly to their readers, and a lot of them have merch. And so I have a prompt here. Please suggest some merch or additional products that I could offer readers who love this book series. And then consider products from Printify. So Printify is one of those print-on-demand companies, and it can actually just give you some ideas of different things. And I'll actually show you what it came up with for me for Dead and Delivered and Return to Sender. And then I actually followed up because there was opportunities I think that it missed, including stickers and character art. And I was like, if you do something like Kickstarter or wanted to offer physical products on Ream, what are some options? Kickstarter has been a big thing for me this week because I've actually seen and or been participating in several Kickstarters, and also getting a box from one of the Ream authors that I follow. So I'm paying like $60 a month and I'm getting this massive box. So I am super excited to get it. I love uh, just everything about character art and all this other stuff. So I actually have a binder full of character art that has been printed and shipped to me. Stickers, I don't need them, but I freaking love them. So that's just me. So let's look at some of the stuff that it recommended. So stickers and small items, character stickers, world building stickers, art prints and posters. So not just the characters, but also the locations as well. And you know, a lot of authors will use artists, and that's amazing if you can afford that. But some of us are, well, can't afford artists because we're not making a ton of money from our books right now. So, you know, having generative AI and the ability to use AI to create these things is an opportunity. So keep that in mind. Apparel and accessories. So you can do t-shirts or hoodies, tote bags. It'd be really cool to have a badge or a badge holder with Charlie's ID or a lanyard, even that says, either Dead Letter Office or maybe even Vampire Corporation. Also, the coffee culture, because remember that um, Veritas, who is our manticore, is super into coffee. And so we can have all kinds of cups or um, other coffee products that deal with coffee. Office and organization, so stationery and desk accessories. Under home decor, we have got some candles, throw pillows, bookmarks, book covers, as well as reading lights. Um, I'm not sure about reading lights. That's kind of odd, but um, some of the options are really good. Some of them are really odd. We've got this limited edition and premium, so some replicas or collector's items as well. So you can, maybe do some signed character art. Or I don't know how you would send out evidence boards. Maybe you could do something like, you know, uh, a picture of what looks like an evidence board and send that out. Maybe it's the size of a postcard. I don't know. These are all opportunities. Also, you can do interactive and functional things such as games and activities. So, a big thing about these new AI models is that they are supposed to be pretty good at coding. So, if you wanted to create a game or a quiz, those are some options. Okay, for digital and physical bundles, you've got wallpapers, sticker pads, um, exclusive digital content. Let's not be specific here, guys, but that exclusive digital content can be some of those things that we talked about last week. And then also seasonal or event specific. So like for Halloween, like if they had a DLO office party for Halloween, well, what maybe does that look like? Or maybe, hey, here's an invitation to the Dead Letter Office Halloween party. So just some quick and fun options as far as merchandise strategy. So for those of you who are building bigger worlds and looking to um, hawk some really cool stuff to people who love your series and your books. So, um, let's see. I'm going to go ahead. Here are actually the Claude prompts from last week that I shared. I'm going to go ahead and leave these in here. I have my own version that I've updated to hopefully work better here inside of Novelcrafter. I think we are ready to write. Anyone have any questions? I know I went through all of that really quickly. Emery said, "You just reminded me of a box of fan merch I've gotten at conventions that I probably should dig out." 100%. I love merch. I love Author swag, I am there. I am a like huge nerd. Okay. So as you can see here, we have 9 chapters. Actually, 9 scenes is in our act 1. So I'm going to head and use this little doodad, and it makes it smaller and it's easier to fit everything on the screen. Also, I learned this the other day, the review tab. I hadn't looked at it recently, and I came over here and I was like, oh my gosh, like we're over 30,000 words. What the heck? So you can actually see word count by scene. This last one was like really super short, but it's actually perfect for what it is. We even have this character distribution by scene, as well as a heat map of when certain um, codex entries show up in your story. So obviously, Detective Lucy Rivera is going to show up quite a bit. Um, goodness. Charlie Craig is going to show up quite a bit as well. But since it's from her perspective, it's going to show up a lot less than you would expect. So let's go ahead and we will come back here to plan. And we are going to be adding on and doing scene number 17. So I'm going to go ahead and add a new chapter. And I may not be looking at the chat as much, so I will attempt to take breaks so that we can answer any questions, okay? So I'm going to move here to the chat. And we're going to attempt to have me not make a fool of myself this time. Here we go. Let me grab the prompt. Okay, so I have my dev editor prompt here. That's what we're going to be working with. I kind of got to the point where I realized this is my primary prompt for chat, and I went ahead and assigned it. Just so you remember, you can come here to prompts and you can set defaults. So my scene beat prompt, I actually have one. It's called return. So it's actually a brain just kind of lost it there for a second. It's a, there we go, preset. That's the word I'm looking for. A preset of the AI Buster Pros prompt. There we go. For summarization, I actually switched back to the normal default prompt, and I'm using GPT 4.1. I did go through, I went back to all of the previous scenes, and I changed them from the up to 500 words back to the 50-word scene summary because I was spending a lot of money. And so that is something to be cognizant of as you are working with bigger projects. As the number of chapters or scenes grows, so is the story so far. So that's why I went ahead and I went back to the 50 words for that. And then for chat, I went ahead and added the urban fantasy mystery dev editor, just because I knew that was going to be my primary one. So we'll come back here to chat. So we are working on scene 17, review the scene list, which it's going to pull the scene list in here because I called it by name, and the previous 3 scenes. So let me go ahead and grab the last 3 scenes. Normally, when I'm doing this in Claude, it's the last 5, but it was somewhere in the neighborhood of, and actually, I don't want to do this backwards. I want to do it in order. Actually, and I can do it by chapter. That doesn't matter. Here we go. Okay, so we've got 15, we've got 16. Oop, actually, I don't want 17. Goodness gracious. This is why we test things. I need 14, 15, and 16. We're writing 17. There we go. Okay. So give me an idea of what you think should happen in scene 17. Also, look at the scenes around it to ensure we're staying on track and not skipping ahead. Remember, the LLM wants to skip ahead to the next thing, it wants to tie all those bows. So, it is your job to make sure it doesn't jump ahead. Okay, let's see how this goes. Yeah, if I was doing all of the previous scenes, it was going to be something in the neighborhood of like, I think 27,000 tokens. I was like, no. Okay. So, looking at the scene list and the previous three scenes, it should be a pivotal moment where Charlie realizes the scope of the conspiracy targeting both her and Dylan. Here's what I think should happen. So, okay. So, this is going to be an emotional scene. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. I'm so sick of like a physical blow. I'm going to be honest with you right here. It keeps using this terminology, and I want to give it a physical blow in the face. So she's going to realize she wasn't a random victim of the trafficking investigation. She was specifically chosen, watched, and led to the warehouse. Dylan was killed in the same network of buildings where she was turned. She already actually knows this. The trafficking case was a final test trigger to get her there, and both were deliberately manufactured as victims. This is the midpoint setup. Charlie's thinking these cases might be connected to understanding. It sets up scene 18, where she will physically return to the crime scene with this devastating knowledge. The scene should end with Charlie demanding to go investigate Warehouse C, the location where Dylan died, which is connected to her transformation site. Yes. So, yeah, it is not 100% understanding what I'm trying to do here. And Master Tamari said, I've had AI do that a lot. No matter how many times I tell it or to show, not tell. Yeah, 100%. It's just, how do I say this? Claude just likes to use, what's the word? Crap sometimes, and it's up to you to fix it. Okay, so this isn't quite the direction I want it to go. Yes, it needs to be emotional, but she already knows some of these things, so we kind of have to remind it. And as the author, you're the one who knows what the heck's going on, so you're going to have to lead this crazy slot machine of words forward. So let's try to figure this out. Let's see. This is okay, but I have some comments. Charlie already is aware of the connection, but she doesn't know why yet. Let's see. What else? So this has to happen back at the DLO. They've just gone and they have spoken. Actually, they haven't spoken to anybody. They were outside of Miranda's apartment. They saw Miranda talk to Rivera. Super emotional for Charlie, because she's like, there's like a parallel between Miranda and her dad, with her being dead now. Her parents know that she's dead. However, Dylan is actually a missing person. So trying to keep everything straight is just kind of crazy. Okay. So Charlie's already aware of the connection, but she doesn't know why. What else? she's not actually going to be able to go to the warehouse tonight, I don't think. I don't know if there's enough time. Maybe there is. I kind of wanted to go the next day because the next day is actually a new moon. Master Smarty says, why would you suggest hiding this type of info from the AI so it doesn't try to just dump info that's not relevant yet? Yes, I would recommend. However, in this situation, we are kind of in a catch-22. So we know he's dead because he has a ghost. The humans, however, don't know that he's dead. He's still a missing person case to the humans. So unfortunately, we can't tell the humans that Dylan is dead. So it's like I said, it's a catch-22 situation where we do know that he's dead. Like the reader knows, the supernaturals know, but the humans have no idea. I think they kind of, at least the police and probably Rivera suspect that he's dead, but yeah. Okay, so I'm also going to put nothing should hit like a physical blow. Pick better words. I like yelling about that. I'm tired of things being hit like a physical blow. Like it's over. We're done with that. We're moving on. Okay. Let's see what it says. You're absolutely right. Let me revise this. Okay. So, Charlie and Kingston return to the DLO to systematically map out all the evidence they've gathered. Charlie already knows the geographic connection exists. Dylan's murder site is 3 blocks from her transformation warehouse, but now she needs to understand why behind the coordination. Why were they both led to the same industrial district? What makes that specific area valuable for criminal operations? Who has the power to orchestrate victims across both human and supernatural jurisdictions? And how long has this targeting been going on? Yeah. The problem is I don't know what I want to happen. I know I need this as kind of a what do I want to say? This needs to be falling action because the action's about to rise again. So I've got falling action from the last scene, and this one needs to also do that. It needs to be kind of like a breather before we go into the next scene, which is going to be finding Dylan's body. So I don't even know really what I want here. So that's part of the problem. And yeah, if I can't tell it what I want, then it's going to come up with crap. But on the other hand, if I come up with crap, then I can figure out what I don't want. So again, catch-22. Okay. What we're going to do, just because I want to be cognizant of time, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to switch to the generate scene brief. And we are going to see what the scene brief is going to look like with what we have right now. And let me go ahead and grab the prompt here. And unfortunately, it wants to get too much stuff. Here we go. Okay, so just real quick, generate scene brief version 2. And all of this is actually as part of the prompt. So as long as you have the prompt, you're good to go. All I did was update this to 17. So we're working on scene 17. And then here at the bottom, the scene will take place during Charlie's third night at the DLO. About 30 minutes driving time after the last scene ended. The date is March 28th. The temperature is 48 degrees Fahrenheit, and it has started raining. The time of day is after dark. It's actually the third quarter moon. So if you're outside and you need moonlight, just in case, we need a little ambiance. And it's about 12 a.m. So basically it's midnight. So let's go ahead and see what it does. Yes, Master Tamari, it's easy to know what you don't want, not necessarily know what you want. So I guess if you try things a couple times, you can figure out what you do want. I know, it's so confusing. Okay, what do we got? Okay, so it's giving us okay. I'm just really quickly skimming through here to make sure this stuff is good, or at least good enough. Yeah, we are 100% not specific enough here, and it's probably going to give us really bad prose. But I'm going to go ahead and write the scene. That way you can at least see the process, and I can come back and fix it later. Okay, so pretty much they are going back into the conference room, and they're going to realize all the things connect, which we kind of already knew that. We got our spatial orientation, so we know where things are um, inside the room. We make sure that she's not going to walk through the table, or that, you know, try to pick up something off the table more than once. That's always fun. And then we have some like really anemic, crappy scene beats. So the next step is actually going to be to fix those. So I actually have let's pin that. I have a way I like to, oops, hold on. Here we go. I need to add this to our list of prompts as well. Here we go. Oops, that's not what I wanted. I want to come here to active scene beats. Here we go. Okay. So please rewrite the beats and remember to include transitions. The story will need more than 10, but no more than 12. So please adjust accordingly. Add as much detail as needed for an LLM to assist in writing the prose. This scene is from Charlie's first person POV. Ensure that there is no head hopping. Charlie should only know what she observes or overhears, never knowing what another character is thinking unless they tell her. I've had to get very specific with this because it kept trying to tell me what another character was thinking. So, oh, well, Kingston thinks this. I don't know what Kingston's thinking because I'm Charlie. So let's try this and see if we can get anything decent here. Okay. Not great, but better than we had. Okay. So what we're going to do is, here is the scene brief here. I'm going to come back down to the bottom here. I'm going to save this as a snippet. Okay. And then I'm going to call this scene brief, scene 17. Then I'm going to come back down in here. I'm going to delete out all these crappy scene beats because they are crappy. Then I'm going to come back down here and copy these scene beats. Close that. Let's go ahead and pin this. I love the pinning. Who is with me on that? Being able to pin the snippets, pin the codex entries, pin the chat is amazing. It is so helpful. Leonie, if you see this, we love you. Okay. So now I have everything. Let's go ahead and delete this out. We don't need that. And we've got, this is duplicated, so let's delete that as well. Okay. So I have, yes, I saw a heart for Leonie. Let's go ahead and I'm going to copy all of this. And I'm going to come back here to plan. The pins are highly underrated. That I 100% agree. Okay. The way that I write, I put the scene brief here. I just need to clean it up a little bit. I don't actually want the scene beats in here. I'm going to do that a little bit different. Here we go. It's kind of a pain to do every time, but there we go. Boom. Delete that out too. Okay, so now my scene brief is here in the box. I'm going to come over to write and make sure I go to the correct chapter. Here we are at chapter 17. Okay, and now I have my scene beats here. And I can write. I usually do about 3 at a time. Go ahead and put in my beats. And now, because of the prompt I have, the prompt will actually look at my information that is in the scene box. It will look at the scene beats. And it will also look at my words to avoid. So these are my AI-isms that I don't want it to use. And then it will write the prose. And so typically for me, 3 beats is going to give me about 400 words. It's going to be choppy. I know that going in. Let's go ahead and scroll through here. Okay. Realization hit like cold water. We're always getting hit. I feel like I'm being abused. And not Elena and Evan. Yeah. Seriously, I got Sarah Chen earlier. I was like, what? It tried to recommend Sarah Chen as a name for a grief counselor. It was fun. Fuzzy Otter says snippet pinning is a lifesaver for me. If I wish I could also sort the non-pin snippets by name. Yeah, that would be kind of nice. You can export snippets, but that's about it. I will say being able to favorite them is helpful, but it doesn't. Yeah, I will put a bug in Space's ear about that. The ability to, if you wanted to, sort the snippets by name. I wouldn't mind having snippet categories because, again, I live life on hard mode. Okay. Well, let's keep on plugging away here. Let's grab another 3 scene beats. And we'll go ahead and generate the prose. I will say I generate the prose and then I edit. I mean, unless there's like a really huge thing that just is going to completely mess up the entire chapter, scene, whatever. Okay. And even though I have told it not to do, to tell it to avoid using dialogue tags, it is. I get to fix that too later. That's all good fun. Here we go. Let's get to the next 3. Dylan wasn't doing random graphic design work. He was documenting the operational infrastructure for his own murder site. Ooh. Okay. They're talking about Carmina's. That 100% should not be happening right now. So this is definitely something where I'm going to have to make some significant changes and significant edits. They should not be connecting anything to the Carminas until the end. The end. Oh boy. And you know what? I may not need this scene at all. I might, after all of this, realize that, hey, this scene doesn't do anything. It doesn't move the story forward. And I might decide to get rid of it. Maybe they head right to the warehouse. But I think we need another scene though before we go to the warehouse. So but maybe something else. Dylan's body is still in that office mezzanine, whatever. Wow. Okay. I think that was everything. Okay. We're going to Warehouse C to find proof of who orchestrated the systematic targeting. Dylan's murder site holds the answers we need. Okay. Let's see. Let's get rid of these scene beats. I don't mind deleting them because they're over here in case I need them. I can always rerun them later if I want to. Let's go ahead and get rid of that. Okay, so we've got 1655 words, which is a little short. But again, we didn't know what we wanted to happen in this scene. So, and once we start playing with Claude, I've had something that was this length blow up to 2,200 words. So this isn't too bad. What we are going to do is we're going to go back and play some more in chat. Let's go back here. Let's open this thread up. And I'm going to go back to our default prompt, our Urban Fantasy Mystery Dev Editor. And what we're going to do is review the updated scene brief and the resulting prose. So I'm going to go ahead and in the context here, I'm going to grab the chapter we just wrote. Scene, chapter, same thing. And we're also going to grab that snippet, which is scene 17. So how can we improve the prose for this scene? And we'll let it go. This is in the same chat where we've just, discussed the scene brief and everything else that's going to happen. So it already has that context. Apparently I killed it. Let's try again. Okay. Master Tamari said, you know what? That's a good idea. I should do that so I can delete my scene beats. Yes. It's very helpful. Okay, let's see what it says are the problems with the scene. And there are, I'm sure, are plenty. Missing the beat integration. Okay, so the prose doesn't fully develop several beats from the brief. So Kingston's expression shifting to alarm is mentioned but not shown. Beat 5, Charlie pacing as manipulation becomes apparent, is described but lacks the physical movement. Okay. Escalation pattern outlined in the beats feels rushed in execution. Absolutely. I 100% agree with that. Transition clarity. So the transitions feel abrupt or unclear. I'm sure they do. The jump from the geographic analysis to Dylan's freelance work needs smoother connection. Okay, great. Kingston's movement to check the surveillance feels disconnected. Okay. Voice and POV. So we actually need more of her analytical procedural thinking. And Kingston's reactions probably fall very flat. Methodical buildup is described in the brief but isn't fully realized. Okay. The pattern recognition should build more gradually. So apparently it's kind of like just all falling flat. And then our aha moment needs to be stronger. Rising urgency. We've also lost her vampire senses. So, she's being hit in a lot of different directions from, the light, the other things around her. So, and then the physical handling of evidence as well. So, what we're going to ask it to do now is, one second. I'm going to ask it to rewrite it for me. So I'm going to say, actually, you are completely right. Let's integrate, those suggestions. No dialogue tags, use action tags instead. And then please give me a revised version of this scene. If you're doing this in Claude, you have to tell it to put it in an artifact. If you don't tell it to do it in an artifact, it is a pain in the butt to work with. Just FYI. Let's go ahead and send this. And so it's actually going to rewrite the scene for you. So how would I use this to my benefit? I would read through this, make notes of things that need to be changed, and basically have it rewrite it again. Here, these are my thoughts. Here are my suggestions. Here's the things that are still not working for me. I'd have it rewrite it until it's decent. Then I'm going to start editing it. I'm going to start cutting out words, things that are used multiple times that shouldn't be used. All of those, indicators that Claude has been involved, because there are quite a few. Claude uses a lot of cliches. So let's come back here. So the conference room felt like a war room. Yeah, that's one of those Claude cliches right there. It's also going to try to use words that are going to connect to the codex. Sometimes I don't want to use enhanced senses. I just want to use senses, or maybe my hearing, or maybe just, maybe the, sense of smell. Like ectoplasmic residue. It wants to use ectoplasmic residue like all the time. So you kind of have to, how many times do I want to use this? Because it gets a little bit fishy after a little while. Rain drummed against the glass walls. Yeah, this isn't right, because the only glass wall that's actually in this conference room is the one that's looking over the bullpen. So, and I don't even think there is a window to the outside in this room. So I'm going to have to fix it. So here are my thoughts. The conference room doesn't have a window to the outside. It overlooks the bullpen. And she wouldn't hear the rain because sound is muffled by magic. There we go. Dylan wasn't killed randomly. This whole thing was orchestrated. No shoot, Sherlock. Someone with resources spanning both the human and supernatural jurisdictions eliminated Dylan and orchestrated your transformation. Maybe we should consider whether pursuing this connection is wise. That's actually something smart coming out of Kingston's mouth, and I'm a little bit shocked by that. I'm kind of mean to Kingston. Kingston reminds me a lot of a character from The Signal, whose name is Val. And Emery, if you're here, that's why I'm mean. That's why I mean to say to Kingston, because he reminds me of Val, and I can't be mean to Val. He's your character. Look at this. Exactly 3 blocks. No, we already know this. So we already know that the warehouse where Dylan was killed. Oh no, not another Val Emery. Yeah, 100%. Like, I will tell you that Kingston is very, very loosely based on Val. So, okay, we already know that the warehouse where Dylan was killed is 3 blocks away from warehouse A. Emery also said that means that I'm in love with Kingston by default, regardless of what he does. Yeah, probably. He doesn't fly a spaceship. Okay. This could be a coincidence. Nothing about this is a coincidental. Okay. Okay. They killed Dylan to test whether I was ready for transformation. They killed Dylan before she was even became. Oh my goodness. Oh goodness. This is terrible. They killed Dylan long before Charlie became a vampire. This doesn't make sense. Whoever's been watching you for months, maybe years. Connection to the trafficking case through his graphic design work? No, he wasn't connected to the trafficking case. Oh my goodness! Wow, this is just terrible. See, this is why we need to know what's happening and not just write the prose. Dang it. Not a good day for Claude. It's not Claude's fault. It's mine. It's 100% my fault because I don't know what I wanted to do in this scene. And so it's taking it out upon me. Okay, let's go ahead and send this. You're absolutely right. That's correct. So yeah, you just make your list of things that you don't like about the prose, and it'll go through and fix it for you. But like I said, it gets to a point where you rewrite it so many times that it's not really going to do it any good. Also, it shrunk this down here to 876 words. Originally, the prose was double that, so 1655. While I'm using Claude, I'm not having the same thing. So it doesn't do that to me over there. It's definitely trying to shrink it here. Yes, 100% Emery. So it thinks it's being good by trying to connect all the dots. And Gemini does it too. Yes, 100%. Like, hey, you're not trying to connect these dots. Well, let me go ahead and do it for you because obviously I know better than you. Yeah. So, well, I either proactively connected the dots a little too soon, or I'm going to have to find something else to happen in this scene, which is probably what's going to have to happen. So she probably just needs, um, you know, maybe she needs to go back to her apartment and be depressed for an evening because she had to see her partner in the last scene. So, um, maybe she needs to talk to Vance and have, Vance threaten her or something because that's like what he's really good at. Um, and Vance is the guy from the Vampire Corporation. Uh, for those of you who've forgotten. So 100%, I need to figure out what I want to happen in the scene before I can write the scene. But we did go through the process, and you were able to see, how I go through this. Not go back and be depressed. Yeah, I think that would be a huge waste of a scene. I think something needs to happen, but not necessarily as much action before we go to the warehouse, because in the warehouse, I'm sure we're going to have quite a few, realizations and revelations. And I just want us to, have that falling action before everything ramps back up again. Because if you look at the dates in my scene briefs, it's only been 4 days. So from the point that she went to, this is scene 1, that was March 24th. So that's when she went into the Greasy Spoon and talked to Detective Rivera. We are on March 28th. It's only been 4 days. She's a brand new vampire. So this is incredibly unrealistic. But, how much realism is there when you're working with vampires? I'm surprised she hasn't taken a bite out of Kingston yet. They've got a thing. But anyways, what questions do you guys have? We're getting right up to the end of the hour. So I'll keep writing along. And like I said, we'll talk about editing next week. I've got some new prompts to share with you guys. I've got a alpha reader and a beta reader prompt. I'm having really good feedback from the community, the Byte-Sized Story Alliance community. They test all my good stuff. So we're going to go ahead and use those next week. And then the following week, we will actually, coming back to the list here, we'll be talking about covers and keywords and blurbs. Thank you, Master Tamari. Glad you enjoyed it. Any questions? Thank you for the heart. I appreciate it. So I'm actually going to go and read. I'm actually rereading a book right now. And of course, I don't have the name on me right now. I can tell you what it is in 1 second. Of course, I opened the wrong app. Blood Oath by Morgan B. Lee is what I'm reading right now. Or I should say rereading. Apparently, it was quite popular. Thank you all for coming. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Enjoy your weekend. And I will see you all next week. Happy writing. And bye.